A very special edition of The Scary House, where we're not playing a scary game, but we're playing Diablo. It's because I wanted to make an instructional video for you, an instructional video on how to play Whirlwind Barbarian. Now, if we look really closely here, we've got our 6 skills: Rend, to murder all our enemies; Ignore Pain, to, actually survive big hits; Whirlwind, Warcry, Threatening Shout, and Wrath of the Berserker. So, let's see what happens here. I'm just going to jump into a Greater Rift. We'll just jump into a 30, which is roughly, I think, my power level. This is not a very strong character. We'll accept. Now, of our 6 skills, we're going to want to start with Whirlwind, which I've set to number 1 here. So we're just going to start moving. And here you can see that Whirlwind is doing its thing. Yeah, so there goes everyone. Alright. Now, you see at some point on our left click, we've got Rend. Now, we're going to use that never. Just keep using Whirlwind. Alright. So here we go, everything's going pretty good. You'll notice that we could be using Rend, but we're just going to use Whirlwind. Yeah, there we go. Alright, that's not too bad. Now, if at some point you see a large group of enemies, and you think that you're going to get hit and take a lot of damage, and you want to do something like hit right mouse click, maybe for Ignore Pain, you're going to not do that, and you're just going to keep Whirlwinding. Right, so here we go. Yep, still Whirlwinding. Alright, hope it's not too complicated for you. Yeah, we're coming up again to another very large number of enemies here. Now, we could hit number 2 for Intimidating Shout, and that would drastically increase our damage and reduce theirs. But instead, just hold down number 1 and Whirlwind. Alright, good. So far, so good. So far, so good. Yep. Unfortunately, every once in a while you do have to click to go to another area, and that stops you from whirlwinding, but there's nothing you can do about that. So here, as you can see, we started off the next map, and I just hold down number 1 and keep whirlwinding. Yep, still going. Still going. The most difficult thing about this build, I would have to say, is that your finger gets tired. So you're going to want to do some finger stretches to keep your fingers nice and limber. Alright then, coming up here, it feels like a nice big strong group of enemies. Now, this would be an excellent time to consider hitting number 3, which I think is Threatening Shout or Intimidating Shout. Yeah, that would be definitely a good spot there, except that we'd have to stop whirlwinding, so we're not going to. Right. Now finally, we do have our ultimate skill, which is Wrath of the Berserker, which gives us, I think, a big damage boost, a big speed boost, all manner of things. Super useful, except that we're never going to use that, just going to keep whirlwinding. Okay, now here comes the boss. And if you're wondering what you do... Oh, I didn't have time to explain it because we were whirlwinding. Well, that about wraps up this very special edition of The Scary House. I hope you learned something. If you're wondering who to thank for that amazing diversity in Blizzard games, I guess we just thank Blizzard. Okay, bye!